You are delegating to people that you trust. It was just me and I'm doing everything, the customer service, managing the logistics, doing the new product development, talking to suppliers.
There is some kind of things that absolutely help you to reach the goals in the case of the short term or long term.
Really, management is just about setting appropriate expectations and following up.
Welcome to Dr. Amazon Podcast, the emergency support channel for FBA private label sellers. We invite top Amazon experts to share the most efficient tips and tricks for your businesses. My name is Vitaly Hizhnyak and I am the CGO of Profit Whales. And let's get started.
How to start an Amazon FBA business and then successfully sell it. Today, our guests know everything about that. Nate Ginsburg has done it while traveling the world thanks to the support of his amazing team. Today, he will share with us a secrets of unplugging and scaling businesses. Welcome back to another episode of the Dr. Amazon podcast. I will not make anyone wait and immediately introduce our today's guest. It's a Nate Ginsburg, founder of Sellerplex and investor and the entrepreneur. Nate has sold his FBA business in 2017 and helps now Amazon businesses and the entrepreneurs to do that in the right way. So Nate, thank you for joining us today and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, that is a pleasure for us. And I would be glad to know more about you and about your story. We know that you have grown your Amazon business up to 7-figure and then successfully sold it. Yeah. And could you please tell me, how did you get into the Amazon? Because it's so specific sphere to get.
Yeah, good question. And so I was living in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. In 2013, I moved to Ho Chi Minh, and the reason I moved there was because of the amazing entrepreneur community that I knew was living there, and it was very aligned in terms of entrepreneurs that valued balance and also freedom and fun and business. It was basically a group of people that read the 4-hour work week and then kind of did that and moved to Asia and started traveling. And anyway, it was a really amazing community of just, kind, intelligent, and supportive entrepreneurs. And everyone was always trying to help each other out. It wasn't competitive, even when people were doing similar things. And so, yeah, I was experimenting with a bunch of different businesses. I made some courses. I was doing some consulting. I was doing some services, and things were going okay, but nothing really taking off in the way that I, wanted. And, there was, as a part of the community, a lot of the people or some of my friends were doing e-commerce, which is what got me first introduced to drop shipping and then to FBA. And so there was some people in the community, some friends of mine that started to, had some success with, selling on FBA, and they were really encouraging. And, I was looking for a business that I could, something that could, hit big. And so gave Amazon a shot, and it, started to take off, and then shifted my focus towards that for the next few years.
Gotcha. And I have listened some of your interviews, and I have understood that you think that entrepreneurs' best opportunity for success, happiness, and impact is to do as much they could do the best, but as little of everything else. So did you get it when you start working and studying with this community or getting into the Amazon business, or it was some kind of your mindset about that?
Yeah, good question. And that it was a combination of things. And so the first thing is really, really early in my career, before Amazon, before whatever, I just kind of got experience hiring on Upwork. At the time, it was Odesk, and this was for the first business attempt that I made, years before Amazon. Didn't end up working out, but as a part of that, I got some experience hiring and creating job posts and just kind of, built my own confidence and skills to be able to successfully hire people. And so when my Amazon business was taking off and, it was starting to grow and this was really exciting, but also it was hectic. And at first it was, it was just me and I'm doing everything, the customer service, managing the logistics, doing the new product development, talking to suppliers. I mean, the different activities that are needed for an FBA business. And so because of my experience that I had from hiring, and I had some experience, as the business was starting to really take off, I started to look to hire people to fill the roles that I didn't want to play. And so that was the first thing. And through doing that, that allowed me to really focus on the areas that I enjoyed and I could add the most value to the business, new product development, some high level supplier relationships, launching.
But a lot of FBA entrepreneurs and the sellers, they afraid that if they will try to go out from these all operational things that they just do daily, because they think that only they could do that the best. And if they will, for example, try to delegate some of these things, their business will just destroy it. Something will go down, and here it is. We got a zero in the case of all our, or minuses for our business. How to do that correctly? I mean, how to start working with this fear that you're facing with?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a very common fear. And it's something that, I experienced as well. And is you need to make sure that you have the right people in place to handle it. And so that's the first thing is, it's not just delegate to the first person that you pass on the street to manage your $1 million business. You need to make sure they're the right people, put them through the right hiring process to ensure that, you are delegating to people that you trust. So that's one part. And then the other part is honestly, delegating, like anything, is a skill. And if you've never done it before, then the first time you do it, it can feel scary and you're worried and this is going to break and this is going to crash. And so, you start small and you start delegating. Right now I'm checking my listings every day personally to see if there's, performance notifications or something. And let's see if I can find someone else to do that. Worst case, they mess it up for a day. You're not, it's not going to be that bad. And so you start, delegating one thing at a time to get it off your plate. And as you do that, you build more confidence with the team that you're working with, build more trust with them so you can continue to offload things.
Here's two main indicators that we are looking for to get. The first one is some kind of trust that you should have to the people and what they do. And the second one is to track the performance of all the things that they have done, something like that, to check everything in the case of the delegating. We have, for example, two main variants: to build a in-house team and to hire people that will assist exactly your business. And the second one is to do the same in the case of the agencies. Is it also some kind of opportunity that we could use and work, or we should combine these two approaches?
Can you say that again? Approaches of hiring in-house or using agencies?
Only build the in-house team, for example, or to do the
versus
same but with the agencies, or combine two approaches.
I think I think you can have success with both ways. And it really, depends on a lot of things and your strengths and your preferences. And so, for example, I'm very comfortable and confident hiring. And so my teams, we have we have strong hiring and recruiting practices. Sellerplex, my current business, we have like 30 people. We've hired a lot. We were, seem to be constantly hiring new people. And so for us, it's quite, we have a lot of experience hiring and filling roles internally. And that's also because that's something that's like, it's a strength of mine and of my business. But for someone else that maybe isn't as confident hiring, doesn't have that experience, then agencies can be a great, that can be a great option. And so Sellerplex, my agency now, a lot of our clients that we work with are people that they don't love hiring. They don't want to manage a team. They don't want to build, they just want to get the work done. And, they want to delegate to someone that they can trust. And, Sellerplex can do the work. And so we're able to support them in that way. And so, it really depends on what your strengths are personally and what your goals are for your business. If you enjoy hiring, if you enjoy managing, if that's something that you are good at and want, then building in-house. And if you'd rather just hire and delegate and offload, then agencies can be a great option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you have mentioned the management thing, and I would be glad to know how to do it correctly in a case of how to manage, or maybe how to build at least like some kind of the dashboard, that you could scroll and understand is everything is going okay on like daily or weekly basis. I mean, what main indicators, for example, should we track when we start moving into the this unplugging, and moving into the delegating process?
So, I think there are a couple of questions there. Let's see. So the first around management. And so one thing I'd like to distinguish is the difference between management, which is day-to-day, tactical, operational, and leadership, which is more higher level, inspirational, and less day-to-day. And so I'd say, me personally, my personal strength is much more on the leadership side than on the management side. And so for my businesses, I hire a good manager who manages the team. And, and I really thrive as in the leadership role. But to also some of your other questions, and both are important. I mean, having good management, which is more, KPIs and, there's some different, really management is just about setting appropriate expectations and following up. At its core, just setting expectations and follow up. A mentor of mine told me that years ago. Management is setting good expectations and following up, which, you don't need to overcomplicate that. And there's a lot of different tools that you can use to set expectations and make sure that they're, clear. How you follow up, how you communicate. It's like, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but at its core, setting expectations, following up. And then on the leadership side, it is also important. Both are to run a successful team. And on the leadership side, that's where I really naturally thrive. And so and that's things that you can, I see that as ways that I can really have an impact on the business. In I guess more in scalable ways. I have like a one-way communication. So I do a weekly update video for my team, and I share, kind of updates at a high level from things that they might not be aware of. I use that as an opportunity to teach some new, some lessons, use that as a way to help build our culture. And so, and those are things that also get people to stay with the business. And so, good leadership, a lot of it, if it's core, I'd say it's about, caring about your team. Management is setting expectations and following up. yeah, I mean, can go on and on about a lot of this stuff.
I like it in the case of the management because there is some kind of things that absolutely help you to reach the goals in the case of the short term or long term. When you set the expectation and follow up on them, it's some kind of you could use like different metrics as a SMART, for example, as the OKR or something like that. Anything that could work for you and adopt it into your business. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you should be an enterprise to work on the same understanding, but each field that you working with, there is the fields that could be surrounded by some goals, and some your expectations that you would like to do. Yeah,
sure. And also to answer your question about the unplugging. So the way that I think about this and also teach this is it's less about the management and leadership is important, but that comes later. The first step is to really understand and define your organizational chart. And so the thing is the shift that entrepreneurs need to understand is that you got to think of your business like a machine. And so machines, they have different parts that all work together to create an output. And that's what your business is as well. There's different parts, things that are going on that all combine to create an output. And so when you're thinking about this, and then just like a machine has a blueprint, a business, the blueprint, that's like the spine, the backbone of the machine that you're building. Your business has its org chart, its organizational chart. So this is like the blueprint for your business, the backbone, the spine. And so the first step to unplugging is to really get clear and build out your organizational design. And the thing is, many businesses, when they're starting, it's just one person. And that's okay. So your first org chart, it could just be you in every seat. But the shift and what you need to understand is, even if it's just you, the tasks that you're doing are falling into different buckets, right? And so as a business owner, you need to be aware of this, that, okay, even if it's just yourself, some of the activities you're doing are marketing, some of them are finance, some of them are operations, some of them are, HR. And so first is being aware of, to define what these buckets are. And then the way to start unplugging is to, okay, one at a time, you then remove yourself. So, okay, well, right now I'm doing our, finances, our payables, and I hate doing that. And so, all right, I'll hire a bookkeeper. And now, all right, now I've removed myself from the finance role and now inserted a bookkeeper. And so, now maybe I'm still doing marketing and still doing new product development and still doing this, but have removed myself from one. And then you go to the next one. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to be managing our supply chain. So, okay, well, go find a way to unplug yourself. And also to your question before about, do you do it in-house? Do you do it agency? It really doesn't matter. As long as you fill that role, that's what's most important, is just filling that role. And whether you do in-house, whether you outsource, whether you agency, it's just, filling that role. And so then one at a time, unplug yourself from finance and supply chain and Amazon admin and customer service and launches and new product development. And all of a sudden, there you go. Now, you've one by one removed yourself, and you've got this organization that then you can scale, because now you're not the bottleneck. And so really the key to scaling is removing bottlenecks. And so, and any part of the business can be a bottleneck. And what I mean by bottleneck is if you doubled 5x, 10x the business operation, then something's going to break. And so, let's say it's supply chain. Let's say you're managing it individually, and right now you have one product or two products, and you're booking the freight and you're managing with the suppliers, and maybe it takes you, 10 hours a week. Okay, well, if you have two products, it takes you 10 hours a week. What if you have 10 products? What if you have 20 products? What if you have 50 products? You yourself just won't be able to manage that. Therefore, bottleneck, you're not going to be able to scale. But what happens when you remove yourself and then you're filling that role, but you're also creating a building block. And so now it's like, okay, like this is the supply chain building block. And so you already have one person doing that. And then to scale, you've already removed yourself. You already have the first building block in place. Then it's just adding another one. Okay, now we need 2 supply chain people. Now we need 3 supply chain people. Now we need, you can do a lot with 3 supply chain people, but I think you get the idea. It's just, you remove yourself and get these people in as these building blocks. And then as the business grows, and bottlenecks come up, but now you just plug in another admin, another this, another that, depending on the needs of the business.
Right.
And it can grow. Yeah.
I got your idea, and I understood how to define and simplify your operations. How to fill that and how to divide it into different bottles or baskets. Here I got your point. And according to the metrics, I guess we have the mess here, because the people could do everything by their own, but they do some kind of the same mistakes in the case of the metrics that they are follow on the business, because sometimes they see not correct data that they try to keep according to their FBA business and try to follow or optimize. Because some people could say that, hey, look at my profit, but sometimes they didn't include some things that they like marketing, something like that. How to work with that?
This is a whole other rabbit hole, but it's like, it's something. It's like so many Amazon sellers are they're so unaware of their profit and what their actual profit is, and everyone's revenue, and so Sellerplex, we provide some finance services, bookkeeping. We also do some due diligence projects. We work with some funds, some aggregators, as well as individual buyers, and they buy a business. And so we're, we review a lot of Amazon seller financials. And, to be honest, a lot of them are incorrect. And the thing is, it's like, I think a lot of FBA entrepreneurs, it's their first business or the first business. It was my first business that really, took off in any significant way. And when I started, all I cared was revenue. That was sexy. Oh, we did $1,000 in sales today. Oh, we did 2,000. We did 3,000. Oh, we did 5,000. Oh, that's what was exciting. And that's what I cared about. And it took me some years to really, and now as a more experienced entrepreneur, I understand how critical knowing your numbers 100% really is. And it's something that still so many FBA businesses, they miss. They're not calculating their cost of goods correctly. They're not, they look at their profit margin. They're not factoring in ad spend. They're not factoring in this. And so they have these totally misguided ideas of how, of what their business is making. And this creates problems. The numbers are important. One, you need them if you want to ever sell. You need to pay taxes. You need to have, know your numbers. But they're also missing a whole other side of business intelligence that comes along from knowing the numbers. And great, this product is selling, 100 units a day, but your profit margin is only, after you cut everything out, you're only making 8% profit on that product. And now your cash flow is severely hurt because you're spending so much on this product and you got to buy all this inventory and your profit's so low. And these are challenges that a lot of, entrepreneurs run into. And really the solution is to know your numbers.
Now I would be glad to make a quick quiz in the case of your life, because everyone, they know you as the expert in the case of the unplugging or scaling of Amazon businesses. But I know that you have a great your story and hobbies that you also, I guess, will be glad to share. Could you please tell me more about your hobbies? I know that you do a lot of yoga, but maybe something more.
Yeah. So, I think that balance in life is really important. And I love business. I love entrepreneurship. I love doing work that's, and work is an important part of life, and to have things that you're, working on and have goals and progress. And it's important. It's fulfilling. It's exciting. Income is also important and necessary, but it's not the only thing. There's a lot of areas of life that are important. And if you want to live a good life, I think there's a lot of different areas that you need to be aware of and consciously invest in. And so for me, yes, business, and I enjoy my work, and work's important. And I, that's a piece, but also health. That's a big one for me. I love exercise. I've been doing yoga for almost 10 years. I go on bike rides. I go to the gym. I do acro yoga. Now I'm doing wakeboarding. It's just, there's so many benefits mentally, physically, creatively, de-stress for doing physical exercise. So like, that's an important piece. But other things as well, relationships, family, romantic relationships, friends, play, intellectual growth, stimulation. These are all areas that, like, in order to live what I think is a good and balanced and complete life, it's important. You need to be aware of and invest in all of these areas. And that's also why it's so important to build a business that you're able to unplug from, because if you're stuck working in your business for 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week, you just aren't going to have time to invest and spend with these different, these other areas of your life. And this is something, like, I really feel strongly about it. For all of us, like, I want all the listeners, like, I hope you're happy and be happy. And I've been personally on a quest to, and still am, of like how to live a good life, what's important. And some of the things that I've realized is that, like I've said, balance and all these different areas are important. And if you're stuck working all the time, then you're just not going to be able to spend time with these other areas that are important. And so, yeah, that's why, like, I'm really, I care. I'm very, passion driven to help other entrepreneurs so they can, build their business, so they can unplug, which gives them time to do more of what they want and live better lives and have more fun and have more impact. And so, yeah, that's some of the ways that I fill my time and how I, think
Great. And could you please recommend a book or film or podcast for our audience that you would recommend?
Man. So I'm a big, I listen to a ton of audiobooks. Actually, I'll recommend one that I'm finishing up now. I'm just going to check the title. Very relevant subject. It's called Happy, Sexy Millionaire by this guy, Stephen Bartlett. And, the author, this guy, Steve, he founded, or he was a co-founder of what became a $200 million social media agency. And they were publicly listed on the UK stock exchange. And it's, big success. And yeah, it's, him, like, I really agree with a lot of what he says in that book. And yeah, it talks about a lot of these things about, what, it's like, you think that you want to be, a happy, sexy millionaire. That's what everybody wants. But what does that even mean? What is important? And yeah, he's got some great stories from his life and experience. And yeah, that's one that I've just listening to now that I'm enjoying.
Nice. I will make a note about that. I will read it and I will let you know. Thank you for the recommendation. And the last question for today: who should be the next guest for the Dr. Amazon podcast?
I'll say so I'm an investor also in a handful of other businesses.
Yeah.
And one that comes to mind, so two businesses that I'm an investor in. One is an Amazon PPC agency, but I think you're a PPC agency, so probably have good PPC.
That is absolutely okay.
Okay, I'll throw out two guests who also happen to be business partners, but both are very, very smart in running, very successful agencies. So one is Brent Zaharadnik of AMZ Pathfinder, and then Will Evans of Flow Candy. And so Pathfinder does Amazon PPC management, and Flow Candy does email marketing and post-purchase funnels for mostly for like off Amazon businesses, Shopify, other e-com. And yeah, I mean, both are great guys, and both are running very successful businesses, and both are very, subject matter experts. I mean, from being a part of an agency and, and me as well. It's interesting because when you're working with, a portfolio of clients in whatever it is that you're doing, you learn a lot more, and you get different insights from, a bunch of businesses. And so yeah, those guys, I mean, they're running great agencies, and they're also, good people.
Great.
They bring good value.
Thank you for all these recommendations. We will try to contact them. And first of all, thank you for all these insights and recommendations for our audience. I think that was helpful. And I think that we will come back with another rabbit hole that we have discussed with you in the case of the metrics, or for example, how to find the right partners. And I think that was our first podcast, and soon we will meet you again.
All right. Well, sounds good. And yeah, for any listeners, if they're interested in more information or want to get in contact, my team had them put together a gift or bonus for your listeners. So sellerplex.com/whale. And there you can download our free book that we wrote on it's the FBA exit blueprint. And so this ebook, goes into a lot more detail around these things that I started to share here around, the different systems and foundations you need to get in place in order to build your FBA business so that you can scale it as well as have an exit. And so yeah, sellerplex.com/whale. For any listeners, can check out the ebook and hope they enjoy it.
Perfect. We will put the link in the description, and thank you again.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And that is all for today's Dr. Amazon episode. Do not miss our future arrivals with new hot topics. Press the like button, leave us a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. We will come back to you shortly.